A very good evening to all our attendees and viewers who are watching us live on Facebook and YouTube. A very warm welcome to the Authors Saga series. A quick recap for those of you who are new to Pick a Book. Pick a Book is all about reading and inculcating the habit of reading, research, and presenting the summary of it in our regular meeting sessions. Creating a better world by changing the sense of self through the habit of reading is the vision of Pick a Book. Currently, Pick a Book marked its inspiring presence in four countries: Sri Lanka, India, Singapore, and UK, with over 600 readers, 18 regions, and 30,000 plus inspired to our sessions in the span of 1 year. Pick a Book continues to spread its wings across the globe. Pick a Book has come up with a new initiative, a wing of Flipside, I would say. It's called the Authors Saga series, wherein the authors can reach their readers, individuals with like-minded interests. Authors can also discuss the key insights of their books, and readers can have the opportunity to know more about the book from the author himself. Okay, today the author who is joining us today is a chemical engineer by profession with 19 years of industrial experience and another 21 into training, consulting, administering, and teaching in various institutions. He is currently an author, a trainer, a technical writer, a consultant, and an advisor for the industry and academic institutions, with training focus in safety, operations, life skills, soft skills, HR, and administration, etc. He worked as a vice president at Omnitrade and served in various capacities and functions at Hindustan Polymers UV Group. Authored his first non-fiction book titled On the Rocks, A Single Malt or a Stranded Soul. The choice is yours, which is why we are here today to know more from the book to the author's perspective by the author himself. We welcome you, Mr. Anantram.
Hi, good evening. Cheers. I'm very happy to be here, Swarna. Thank you for that wonderful introduction.
Thank you so much for coming, and we are glad to have you with us tonight as well.
My pleasure.
Yeah, first of all, we would start with congratulating you on your first book, and we wish you a long way in writing.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Okay, how did it all start? You know, your journey as a writer.
Well, you see, I love teaching right from when I was in my college days. And I have been writing. I've written a lot of things for the media. I love content writing, content editing. I do that even professionally. And my wife has been after me to write my book for almost 10 years. I said, yeah, it'll happen sometime.
Okay.
But then, when I joined a wonderful community called TLC, Teachers Are Leaders community, so they put out a very nice program known as the Author Success Program, which said it's not tough. You could write your book in 3 months. I thought they must be kidding. And I said, okay, let me humor myself and humor them. And then suddenly they said, if you have a book in your head, you can put it down in 30 days. And believe me, I did that.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I mean, it was so easy because of the several decades of experience that I've had, the several experiences that I've had with my students, with my trainees, because I've been into teaching this particular generation since 2003, since 1998. And from 2003 to 2010, I was with a wonderful organization called ICFAI. And I came across some of the wonderful, beautiful minds there. And most of them are my friends today. And I realized that this generation Y, the 25 to 40-year-olds, are a pretty complicated, complex generation. Because, so many of my students are running into issues. And I spend a lot of time in counseling them, talking to them, advising them, because they still love me and respect me for what I've, probably something good that I've done for them and in their lives. And then I found that most of the book is experiential, and in fact, my book is peppered with so many case studies, which are mostly from their life. Of course, there are a few from my own life too, but I'm not trying to generalize, but yeah, there are more. All of it is experiential. There is not a single bit of fiction in it. It is all pure non-fiction, actual case studies,
Okay.
with, of course, no names mentioned for privacy reasons. But yeah, I just found that this generation is a very complicated generation, and I took their inputs before I even started writing. I said, "Do you think this is a good thing?" I took their inputs, what they wanted, and with
Okay.
that in mind, that was my platform to take off. Yeah, so that is the inspiration for me. These wonderful uh, ex-students of mine who
Okay.
are all mothers of young children, some unmarried, and some having teenagers as
Okay.
their children.
Okay, that's great. Okay, you are a chemical engineer by profession, by qualification, right? And an accomplished life coach by profession, and many more for that matter to your professional credit. What exactly inspired you to become an author? Amidst all these roles.
Very simple, just to give back to society my years of accumulated experience. I even do technical webinars. There was this recent, vapor leakage from the LG polymers, and
Mm,
I owe all my experience and wonderful experience to training. I worked with them for 12 years,
yeah.
and there was unnecessary panic being created. So
Mm,
I've administered quite a few seminars and webinars regarding that vapor leakage.
okay.
So yeah, so I mean, writing, there's so much in my head, and I think today is the time for me to share it
Yeah.
and leave my legacy. And this book is my legacy.
Yes,
It's my
absolutely.
legacy. I know this will hopefully survive me on the stand somewhere, sometime, and somebody will be inspired by it. I'm sure. Thank you.
Definitely, definitely that will happen for sure. Okay. Were you an avid reader from the
Oh,
childhood and
oh, uh, I I still am an avid reader. I love
okay,
reading, and
okay,
I've read some wonderful books. Oh, so many of them. I mean, I just love reading.
okay. That's great to hear. And do you think this habit of reading will actually help to bring out the author in a person? And what is the role of reading in writing from author's perspective?
See, when you read a book, you
Mm,
know what emotions run through an author's mind,
mm,
and then you suddenly start empathizing. And when you start empathizing, you say, hey, if Ayn Rand can write this, if Richard Bach can write this, if Dale Carnegie can write this, if Paul Coelho can write this, why the hell can't I? I mean,
true.
there are brilliant authors,
Yes.
and if Chetan Bhagan can write, so can I. I
Mm,
mean, we all have it in us. Believe me, all of us have that book in our heads because we have experienced life, we are experiencing life, and the kind of vicissitudes that we have today in life are
mm,
mind-boggling. We never
ab-
had so much of complication when we were, at that age of 25 to 40. But today, this
okay.
this generation Y is going through a tough time. And then I think part of the blame lies with us, the baby boomers and Gen X, to a large extent, because we are competing with Gen Y and Gen Z at beauty parlors
Yes.
and fitness clubs and other places and gyms. Oh yeah, I see my generation also, competing with you. We never had all these luxuries, and today, yeah, the
Yes.
book is there in everybody's head. Believe me, the book is there in everybody's head. It just requires you to sit, take a few moments off from your distractions every day, and put down your thoughts. And believe me, in a month or two, you will have a structure ready. It is not difficult.
Okay.
Yeah, for me, it was sheer laziness that I didn't write it all these years. I could have
Oh,
written the same book 10 years ago. I'm sure about it. Yeah.
okay. Okay. Thank you for that. And okay, on the lighter side of it, if we want to snatch a day from your calendar, what
Mhm.
would it typically look like?
On the beach, all alone, with some nice cold beer,
Okay.
for some time. And then, of course, with my friends around me
Okay.
and probably playing beach volleyball. That would be my uh, ideal day today,
Ideally.
of course. And if my wife decides to join me, she's most welcome.
Okay. Because you have written a book on relationships, so you can't miss this point.
Yeah, no, see, it is optional. The
Yeah.
choice is yours. I always tell my wife the same thing, right?
Okay.
You want to join me? You want to join with my friends? The choice is yours.
Mm.
These are the guys who I'm chilling out with. You want to join in? Sure, join in.
Okay.
But the choice is yours. You want to have some beer with us? You want to have a few cocktails? Join in.
Okay.
But I never force anything on anybody because at the end of the day, whether it's a marriage or any relationship, one needs to have that personal choice without losing, one's self-esteem, and that is and respect for each other. That is very important in a relationship. Self-esteem. Never, get lose your self-esteem and always respect the dignity of the other person. That is the whole book in one small
Trying to say.
suggestion.
Perfect. Very well said. Okay. So that's it, ladies and gentlemen. For those of you, I think we have enough from the author about his personal journey in writing. If any of you who seriously wants to understand about relationships and how to make it work, I think this is a book for you all. Okay. Okay. Now let's go on to know more about the book and what's inside of it, to take back home today. Okay. My first question comes here, and if someone has to choose this book, what is that they can expect from this 240 pages of book, and why did you choose the title?
Okay. So, number one, the title is intriguing. On the rocks, a single malt or a stranded soul. Now, you see, when one decides to have a nice cocktail or whiskey, it's always on the rocks,
Yeah.
right? You can enjoy your life with that wonderful single malt and cheers to life. You could also, if you choose not to enjoy life, if you choose to keep all your hang ups, pile them up sky high,
Mm.
nobody is going to pity you. Believe me, in life, nobody pities you. You are going to get to be that desolate soul cast away on some rock or on an uninhabited island, and you're going to be desolate. And whether you want to have a toast to life or you want to be stranded as a desolate soul, that choice is what you have to make for yourself. The happiness of every moment is not available anywhere. It is right within each one of us. And it is up to us to actually find it. And if we can, that is it. So, this book is something which I think this particular generation, why, would benefit from, for the simple reason that all around me, I see people with all kinds of complications, because, the structure has changed. And, the today, two people who want to get married are both earning well, both well qualified, both from very good families. And for the right reasons, women and men today have, I must say, to a very large extent, a 50-50 relationship. In most aspects, they are competing with men in jobs, in all careers. So, which is a wonderful thing. But when you take this 50-50 into into a bond like marriage, into a home, it does not work. It just does not work because it is something much more than that. You know, you must be ready to give more than you want to take from a relationship. It is not 50-50. Most of the breakups that I have been witnessing is just because of ego. Each wants to do their own thing. Let them do their own thing. But when it comes to looking at each other, staying with each other 24/7, each partner must be willing to give that 60 plus and take only that 40 minus from that relationship. And that is the only way forward. You can maybe have a house, but you can never build a home with this kind of an attitude. And I think that is the crux of what I would like to convey to this generation, that, be ready to give more than what you want to take in anything. I mean, it could be between friends. I just use marriage as a base because that is where most of the problems happen in relationships today. But it could be just between two friends or a group of friends. I mean, if you really want to have a good friend, be ready to give into that bonding, be ready to give into that relationship, and take less, give more. And that is when, everyone is ready to give. That's when the whole engine starts humming well. And, it really takes, I mean, you can really rocket forward and create, magic.
The harmony.
Yeah.
Yes. Perfectly, perfectly. That creates a harmony for sure. Okay. As soon as I started reading the book, I
Mhm.
came across an interesting classification of generation and the titles. How about sharing them to our audience as well? And
Oh, yeah.
why talking about the generations is important to start with in this book?
Yeah. So you see, let me start with my generation, whom we were the baby boomers.
Hmm.
My parents saw wars, world wars. They have been deprived of food, they've been deprived of so many things. And we, who were born prior to 1961, 65, no, we had a fairly uncomplicated childhood. Our parents didn't care so much about us except giving us a good education and a good footing in life. And we were, believe me, allowed to do so much on our own. To a large extent, Gen X also, the 1965, 1980 bonds, they also had a rather uncomplicated life. And even when they went into their teens, things were still good.
Hmm.
But this generation Y, when they were born, no, basically 85 to, 80 to 1995. So they became teenagers when the whole media started exploding, So they had so many distractions. And
Yes.
when there were more and more of these distractions, Gen Y, they wanted to enjoy it. But that was at the cost of something else.
Hmm.
And still, most of them, even till then, they were still okay.
Hmm.
But now, when they have started, getting into their relationships, is a problem. And now, when they have children, the Gen Z and of course now the Gen Alpha, these kids have, I think, electrons and media running in their veins. You know, I mean, you give a 2-year-old, 3-year-old an iPad, and they find their own entertainment. It's amazing. So I
Yes.
think there's something that is, changed in their whole thing. And these people who have enjoyed the Gen Y, who have enjoyed the pleasures of, physical life and also the electronic or digital life, suddenly find that, they have these kids who love the virtual world. That is one more complication. So they say, hey, you can't do this, you can't do that.
True.
And handling Generation Z is still easy, but Gen Alpha, I really don't know. Those born after 2010, who are now currently 10, 11 years old, I don't know how they're going to handle them, because they're a rather confused generation. Gen Z is confused. Gen Alpha is going to be today they're still children, and they are totally in a virtual world. There is no real world. Their real world is virtual.
Yeah.
Like today, intelligence has become more artificial than real. Everyone wants AI, artificial intelligence. What's happened to common sense? What's happened to good old human intelligence? Going for a 6. So you see, this is where we need to lead grounded lives. You know, give that opportunity, give that option open. Say that this is also there. See, leave that choice for the children to say, hey, I played football. When it started raining, I went and kicked the ball around in the wet grass. I got wet. I got a bit of bronchitis. Yeah, I was on antibiotics for 5 days. Fine. Can I do it? Of course you can. Go out and do it. But parents today are paranoid. We want to drop the children. We want to mollycoddle them. We don't want to allow them their space. So obviously they're going to be nurtured in a protected environment. And suddenly you unleash them into the world outside. I mean, it's going to be really tough because they don't have life skills, you know. And today we have seen that with the pandemic, you know, life skills have become very important.
Yes.
Suddenly these parents were stuck with their kids for a year at home. And they're going bonkers. The parents are going bonkers. The children are going bonkers. Husbands and wives are going bonkers because they never saw so much of each other.
Yeah.
See, for us, it is, you know, our parents, we were there, we went out, we climbed trees, we stole mangoes from the neighbor's garden, you know, we beat each other up. They said, hey, are you back home by 6:37? Okay, have a wash, eat your food. We all sat together and ate a meal.
Yeah.
How many of you can say that you eat your meal with your family of 3 or 4? Do you? No, I don't think so. And I don't see it happen. Even if you do, all 4 have phones in their hands because of FOMO, the fear of missing out. Oh my God, somebody else is having more fun than I am, and I'm stuck with this. You know, my parents, you know, having food, eating carrots and beans and some so-called unhealthy or healthy food. I don't know what the hell this is, and you know, all this thing goes on. You know,
Yeah.
so that quality time is not being spent. I mean, I don't know. I don't know where we're headed. So generation-wise, there's so much of difference. There's so much of difference. And if you go through some of the things that I've given you, I've related to all these generations. And in fact, one of the conclusions that I also felt that probably, you know, our generation, the baby boomers and Gen X, are really not going to be very good grandparents. Because, you know, we have earned fairly decent amounts of money, and we want to compete with you guys, you know, in beauty parlors, go on exotic holidays. We want to spend our money. My parents never wanted to spend money, but I want to, damn it. And my parents were ready to take care of my kids. Why should I change diapers for your children?
Yeah.
So,
True.
so, you know, it's like that. So sometimes maybe we will humor you by taking care of your kids, is what I say. Yeah, we will take care, we'll have fun with them like we adore a small puppy. But, you know, taking care of a child 24/7, because I was shocked. I had one experience which I've related in my book, was we had this 40-year-old lady coming back from the US to India, and she had a 3-month-old baby with her. So it was a little unnerving. What is this young lady doing with, I mean, it's too old to have a baby. Then she said, no, she's my granddaughter. She's just 41 years old, and the small child was a granddaughter. So obviously she said, you know, my daughter had a baby in the US, you know, but, you know, she and her husband are both working. So I'm taking her back to Vijayawada to take care of the baby till she becomes bigger. I mean, why do these people have children? I mean, can you imagine a mother just giving up a 2-3 month old child, and, you know, the husband and wife enjoying themselves? And why have children and, you know, spoil a life? And that child is going to be brought up by grandparents, going to love the grandparents. And then where is the bonding with the parent? What is parenthood? It's gone. I mean, it's gone somewhere. It's no longer there. So, you know, generation-wise, it's going to be quite a bit of a terrorizing experience, believe me. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, they're not here, they're not there, they're in the middle of it.
Oh, yeah. It is. It's going to be. I mean, the reality check has to happen sometime. And I
Yes.
think my intention of this book was a reality check
Yeah.
for all of us. I mean, while it is targeted at Gen Y, I'm sure my generation people or the Gen X will also benefit from it.
Mm.
I think they will also understand
Yeah.
why their kids behave the way they do. I mean, they're no longer kids, they're 30, 35-year-olds today, probably, or 20, 28, 30 years old. But sometimes I find it tough to understand why my children behave the way they do.
Mm.
But then my experience of these past 20 odd years in teaching these, and many of them are my friends today,
Mm.
has made me realize that, hey, okay, there's something going wrong.
Okay.
And that was actually also a major trigger to get this thing out of my head.
Okay.
I poured my heart out. Anyway.
Thank you so much. They that sound
Yeah.
actually truly interesting. I'm sure not many of us have known this by far. Actually, I don't know the titles of this Gen Y, Gen X, baby boomers, millennials, and alpha. That starting lesson itself sounded very interesting to start with the book. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's not to miss this book. Please buy it from the Amazon. It's available on Amazon and the Kindle version. Also, if you want to read online. Okay, now let's just move
There,
on to
there
my
was
next.
there was one question from Rajiv Lochan. Any advice for long distance relationship?
I think we'll take up the questions at the end of the session.
Later? Okay.
Yeah, yeah, we'll take it. Let's just finish
Okay.
off with this, and then we'll move on to the
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
next.
Yes, Swarna, sorry.
Hey, no problem.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so now I'll move on to my next question. Coming to the
Mhm.
serious part of this book, if I
Yes.
look at it as a chapter wise, you started with two people falling in love, then getting engaged, marriage happens, then the challenge begins when bonding with extended new families, and then kids come into the picture, and so on and so forth.
Yes.
In all these phases of life, what do you think is lacking in making the relationships work? And what are the challenges in the relationship?
Most of
Hmm.
the challenges is
Hmm.
the ego of the people. Maybe the parents, maybe the in-laws, maybe the two partners who intend to get into the relationship,
Hmm.
their egos not
Hmm.
willing to give each other space. I think
Okay.
that is what is the thread that runs right through. You know,
Hmm.
you just got, when you want a relationship to happen, you got to leave your egos and bad attitudes at home. When you
Okay.
go to work, you got to leave it because it doesn't work. See,
Hmm.
it is very difficult to continue to have your hang-ups, with when you're trying to deal in a relationship. It doesn't work, Swarna, because these things are very uh, what do you say? I mean, they're ephemeral. You don't know when they're going to come and go.
Ah,
And
true.
and suddenly you find a spouse saying, hey, I don't like your friend. Now this is a childhood chuddy buddy, as I call them in my book.
Hmm.
They're chuddy buddies. I mean, you can't sacrifice a chuddy buddy for
Hmm.
a man or a woman whom you've met just maybe a few months ago.
True.
And then there are demands. Well, let's get married only if you don't meet that friend anymore. Oh, you
Hmm.
like that girl more than you like me. You like that boy more. He's more handsome. Huh?
Hmm.
All these kind of idiotic comparisons start coming up.
Yes.
Uh,
Yes.
no, I think it's just one guy has to get rid of that ego and be grounded and start bonding. See, when you get married, you're
Hmm.
not marrying a person. You're marrying a family.
Hmm. True.
You know, and there is a lot that the family also has to give and take in the relationship. When a new person comes into that home, they may live together, they may live separately, but end of
Yeah.
the day, you have to respect that other person who has come in,
Hmm.
and you can't be as demanding as you were with your children with that other person who's entered the house. you know
Yes.
so there's a lot of give and take. So that give and take is something that has to happen all through. In fact, in the second chapter of my book, you know, there is a lot of areas which I have suggested that people actually talk about before they even get into these of even talking about marriage, because these are the issues that keep pricking, that keep popping up time and again.
Yeah.
And actually, the honeymoon is actually the engagement period. When you have decided, and yeah, it's nice and hunky dory. And from
Yeah.
the day you look at each other 24/7, the honeymoon ends actually. They say, let's go for a honeymoon after the wedding. I said, no, the honeymoon has ended, boss. Huh? You're looking at each other in all your naked glory. Yes, you are.
Yeah.
Huh? And that is when, it's tough to look at each other 24/7.
True.
And then the whole avatar is different.
Mm.
All the band, baja, barat is all finished, over. And suddenly the reality check comes. And that is where disillusionment sets in. And
Exactly.
believe me, that is where you have to say, hey, okay, I'm not marrying this person, I'm marrying his mind. Marrying the wonderful mind of that person. You have to go transcend that physical self and get into that mental connect, the vibe. Otherwise, it won't work, is my
Yeah.
take, Swarna. I hope that has partly answered what you wanted.
Yeah,
to be.
definitely. Partially, it has to be partly answered because I don't want to spoil the mood of this book and open it up completely before someone reads it. That little things are good enough, for someone to create that enthusiasm. Okay. Okay. Now that we understood, ladies and gentlemen, what are the challenges which are encountered, in the relationship? What does the book suggest on how to manage these relationships?
Yeah, it is not a doctor's prescription,
Mm,
because each case is different.
yes.
I have just put down,
Mm,
I would say A to F, probably not, but G to Z is probably still there. In
okay.
my experience, I probably covered A to F,
Okay.
6, 7 elements. And yeah, so I said, yeah, if this happens, try this out. Because what works for me doesn't work for you. It's
True.
as simple as that. So there's no clear-cut prescription that if you take paracetamol, your fever will come down. There's no doubt about that. But
Mm,
here, it doesn't work that way. In a
yes.
relationship, it's actually more complicated. We are human beings. There are emotions. There are pressures of work. There are pressures of family. There are pressures of uh, friends. There are pressures of society. There's so many uncontrollable elements,
Yeah.
which can influence this. So, there's no prescription, but I've given a few likely scenarios, a
Mm,
few suggestions,
okay.
based on which I think you can at least form that, platform,
Mm,
from where, you can start launching.
yes.
At least the base is there. And then,
Mm,
you start preparing it at the right levels of concrete, start putting the columns of the right strength, and then start building your house. You know,
yes. We can do
the
our
foundation is there. I
customization.
think this is more like a foundation. Yeah.
Mm, yes. So we
And,
can
and in fact,
customize.
one of the, I must tell you this, that one of my very close friends, she told
Mm,
me, you're uh, very critical of women. I shared a few things that I was, going to
ah,
talk
yes.
about.
Yes.
Is it a gender bias? I said, no. Please look at, there's so many other things where I appreciate women. Because in the past 20 years,
Mm,
women have been more than 60, 70% of all the educational institutions that I worked in. And they've done a wonderful job.
mm,
Yes, yeah, for some, I've added an appendix, what women say and what they mean. And
yes.
then I left it at that. And then I said, no, I'm going to face a lot of flack. So I added one chapter, what men say and what they mean too. And then I found, yeah, actually, we guys are also pretty, can behave like jerks quite so often. So
Yeah.
the appendix is actually quite an interesting read.
Good.
And some, not really, yeah, it is also humorous. It gives you also a bit of a reality check. Hey, okay.
Yes, I've gone through it. That's especially, the last few pages, ladies and gentlemen, they are covered actually what we think, what ladies mean by what they say is truly hilarious. You have to go through it for sure. I'm sure you must have kept it at the last so that, there is some strategy to it.
Yeah,
The,
because when you go through the contents and you suddenly see this, there are a few people who
yeah.
actually went to that and said, "Hey, this guy is going to, say something." I'm sure my people in my family are going to,
Mm.
start looking at those questions with a magnifying glass, and we'll probably grill me over dinner or sometime later.
Good that you've covered both women and men. Otherwise,
Yeah, yeah. Oh, I have to see my skin, no? I have to continue. Be, going
very
to be married for almost 38 years now in a few months.
smart.
So,
That's a smart way of putting it. Thank you for that. And okay, finally, my question, last question here is that, to our audience, what is your final word or a piece of advice for this generation on relationships?
chuck your hang-ups, chuck your negative vibes, your negative attitudes. Let bygones be bygones and start afresh. Make every day a fresh day, right? Don't rake up what's happened. Yeah. We've all had our flings. Huh? So let
Yes.
bygones be bygones. It's over, right? Let's not continue with our flings
Mm.
henceforth, right? It's over and done with. Because, it is these things that, keep coming back again and again and again. And we think it's buried and gone, but it's like that, the dog that has buried a bone, and suddenly you find a dog, scratching the ground, and then it says, "Hey, I buried a bone here 1 year ago, it must still be there." And then it takes out that bone which is stinking. And now let's not do that. I mean, my suggestion is very simple, that these things happen. It has happened. And can you do anything? You pour a glass of milk or you break a bottle of beer on the ground. Can you do anything about it? Can you cry about it? You can't. It's over, finished. But
Yes.
believe me, if you really want to be married to each other, accept each other for what he or she is. Don't have expectation. Oh, you should dance like this. You should dress like this. You should do this. You shouldn't do that. You know, no. Give each other the space, respect each other. Very important is respect each other, give them each other the space. I don't want you to look at each other 24/7. It's not possible. you know if your
Definitely.
husband or wife wants to go out for a party with her friends or his friends, so be it. Yeah, you
Yeah.
have your parties, let him or her have her parties, finished.
True.
But end of the day, you both have to look at each other and stay together, and your relationship must be above these mundane things. Take your relationship to that higher level. There's no
Yes.
point in trying to wrangle over these small nitty gritties. And I'm believing it is these nitty gritties that are the major thorns in the flesh. Get rid of all these small idiotic things that keep tickling your backside, and you have no work to do, and you're sitting at home and brooding. Your husband hasn't returned from work, or your wife hasn't come back from work. Whom is she going out with? Oh, that guy must be drinking with his friends. And then the mind is such a bloody devil; it goes haywire. And then, of course, things get nasty. Come on, just have that trust, build that trust. Just
True.
trust each other, right?
Yeah.
Because there's no the relationship, if there's no trust. Believe me, there's no relationship. Just trust each other. And
Exactly.
when you trust, it is a constructive trust cycle, and that's how it works. Yeah.
I just can't agree more on this. Every word you said is absolutely true and very realistic, I must say. And we have a message from Meenakshi Anantram also.
Oh,
It's a good message that threw out here. Youngsters should learn to live with an attitude of gratitude and chill out on themselves. God bless these amazing kids. Thank you so much for the wonderful message to all of our audience here. She is Mrs. Anantram, ladies and gentlemen, for all of you. A good message from her too. Okay, so we have some positive messages rolling up here. Ajit Kumar says it's a good book and relates to our own experiences. Exactly. Looks like it's after I've read it for sure. So I would definitely ask everybody to go to it, and you definitely would love the book, each page of the book. Um, and any more questions? Rajiv, can you just flash out the questions here? I think I cannot see them here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any advice for long distance relationship? Doesn't work. Friendships work. Marriages don't work long distance. Believe me, it doesn't work. Because, it's like what they call as, live-in relationships, It's like a live-in relationship. It's okay. Just be good friends.
Yeah.
I mean, why get into a complication called marriage? One of you decide. One of you decide to sacrifice and stay with the other person. In fact, this was one question that has been asked during the initial days of my marriage, and my wife said, "Why should only you wear the pants in the house?" I said, "It is never. It is never like that. The day you are able to earn more than me and take care of all our expenses, I will take the back seat." And believe me, I did. Yeah, I mean, she wore the pants in the house for many years. I took that back seat to some extent. I did what I wanted. Yeah, it worked. So, but till such time, see, a stable income is required for us to run our family.
Yeah.
And without that income, nothing can happen. Make sure that, and money, that is the biggest irritant in the relationship. So in long distance, you have your money, she has her money, I have my money, and then, yeah, it's fine. Great. Where is our money? So who's going to sell the house? Who's going to pay the installments? Is that going to be 50-50? Who's going to pay for the child's education? 50-50? Who's going to pay for the food? Half the loaf of bread is for me, half the loaf of bread is for you. Come on. No, they don't work. Have that one common account. You maintain your private account, separate accounts, fine. But have that one joint account where each of you put in that X amount of money every month. Want to make it 50-50? Do it 50-50. But no questions asked. Because I believe me, money is a terrible thing when it comes to relationships.
Yes.
It has ruined friendships. It has ruined marriages. And so many relations. I've lost so many friends just on a matter of money. I mean, it is a real evil. There is no, however cliched it sounds, it is really the root of evil, money. But we can't do without it. Yeah. So long distance relationship, somehow I'm not very comfortable with. It's good, but maybe 1 year, 2 years, but sometime you guys have to get together and live together. It is not living together for 1 week or in every quarter, or a few months every year. It doesn't work that way. No, it doesn't. Sorry, I may sound old school, but yeah. Friendships work. Long distance friendships work. I have so many friends, lovely friends, at the long distance. But no, yeah. Thank you. I hope that partially gave you some insight. I'm rather
Yeah.
little blunt and frank in my responses too, so don't mind that.
No, absolutely not. That is that is your perspective, and one should take it as such. So Raju,
Yeah.
I hope you can just build it up, customize to yourself, to your own needs, whatever the advice given to you. And yeah, or any more questions, Rajiv? Do we have? I somehow can't scroll this messages. Oh, that's a comment from Swati. Thanks, Swati. Okay.
I'll be happy to answer questions even at a later date if somebody really wants some perspectives. I have no issue on that, Swarna. If somebody
Okay.
really would like
Yeah,
to,
yeah, yes.
I don't mind. I'll surely do it.
Yeah, sure.
What is my next book about?
Yeah, we also want to know.
Yeah, I'm just mulling over several ideas, but one is something a little deeper into transaction analysis and communication, on
Mm,
how to communicate and why people, or why communication breaks down, and how to make. I mean, there are enough books on effective communication and all that, but
mm,
from a relationship perspective, I
okay.
think the way we communicate, our body language, and so on, needs a lot of change. The eye contact, our gestures, what people like or dislike, something. I mean, that is just one of the thoughts I have.
Mm,
Yeah, and definitely non-fiction. Fiction somehow hasn't really interested me. I don't like to take people on runs of fantasy.
okay.
I would rather like to do a bit of reality check. I do not know. Fantasy means, yeah, I love fantasy, but of the J.K. Rowling style,
Okay.
pure fantasy.
Only imagination more than
Yeah.
reality.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. But otherwise, all these soaps and movies and all which give unrealistic pictures, I'm somehow not a fan of that. No.
Sure, we'll be waiting for the next book on communication as well. So, what's your advice on managing work relationships versus personal family relationships in this digital world?
Yeah,
So, very much important question from Ajit
interesting.
Kumar.
Okay, work-life balance.
Hmm,
Okay, mostly so on work-life balance. Yeah. So, work relationship is necessary to get that evil thing into your life called money.
okay.
But I think there must be a disconnect. See, what I see happening nowadays is that a lot of people
Hmm,
are escaping into work because they're not able to handle the home. You
perfect.
know, so we prefer to stay that extra hour or two at work, or
Hmm.
pretentiously at work. That also happens. You tell your spouse, hey, I'm in a meeting, don't disturb me, and you're partying with your friends, having a beer, probably in a dance party. Whom are you fooling? You're only fooling yourself. But yes, uh, the home is important,
Hmm.
and you have to make sure that there are some together things. There is that quality time. There are certain things that the husband and wife must do together. I mean,
Okay.
even if you're in a live-in, spend that quality time doing something together. Maybe just cook together. You know, obviously, when you go out on a holiday together, it's fine. But when you come back home,
Hmm.
holiday is a dream, and day-to-day cooking is a nightmare. No,
Hmm.
you don't need to go to a foreign locale to have a holiday to enjoy your spouse's life. Just do something together. That is important. To play a game together. It could just be Scrabble, or just a game of caroms, or a game of cards, or
Yeah.
just make a dish together, cook together. You know, and don't have friends popping in at that point in time. You know, we always like to have our friends around us all the time. There is me time, there is our time, where that is required. So in a work relationship, you have no choice. You have to see that stupid boss's face day in and day out, right? And then you have these complaining subordinates, all those monkeys who are going to claw your back and pull your hair out. Yeah, but you had enough of that. Come 6 o'clock, 6:30. Bye bye, guys. See ya. Don't disturb me unless there's a fire burning down my premises. But otherwise, I'm not available. Give me my family time. So a conscious effort has to be made
Yeah.
by the family members to spend that quality time together.
True.
If that doesn't happen, then the bonding doesn't happen, and then you start escaping into work, and work is always there. It's always that your boss always gives you at least twice of what you're expected to do. So your
Yeah.
workload is always plus to 100%. Yeah. So you can ask him to go and take a hike. He would probably be enjoying himself playing golf and want you to work your butt off somewhere. So now you got to give that quality time at home too, like you give it in the office because it's earning you money. Give it at home to earn that
The peace of mind.
emotional value. Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope, Kumar, that you got
Yeah,
some
that's
insight.
yes, yes. That's a wonderful advice for all of us actually, who's really struggling to balance work life and this. That what you said is absolutely true because this Gen Y is facing it in a way, living with lies and again a lie to cover that lie, things like that. So it is rather it is important to space out, give split the time to everything else in life. So thank you so much, sir, for that wonderful advice. I think we have taken almost all the questions. Any more questions we receive from our social media, we will be asking you later. We'll be
Sure.
taking the piece of
Anytime.
advice.
Oh, yes.
Yes,
It'll be
for sure.
my pleasure to answer it. No
Thank
issues.
you so
Yeah.
much. Thank you. We just had a very, very, very wonderful time, and your advices are like the very important at this time of hour. Actually, because this is
But I
a
hope it's not
pandemic.
too old-fashioned advice.
No,
I
it
hope my
is
advice
not.
is not too old-fashioned.
Surprisingly, it is not because you are capturing up. Though you belong to the Generation X, but still, you are able to catch up the mindsets of today's generation. And your point is absolutely, absolutely true and very, very practical to follow. So, and yep, that's it. Thank you for the wonderful share. Absolutely loved all your advices and this wonderful book, for what it holds for all of us. Thank you so
Thank
much
you.
for your, yeah.
Thank you so much. And thanks to all the viewers who were present and hearing the session live. Thank you very much. I'm always available anytime. And please pick
Sure.
up my book. I think pick a book.
Yes,
I think this is
absolutely.
one book I've put into their library, and I
Yeah.
hope some of you pick it up, read it, because it's very interesting. Believe me, it's very light reading. I get some fairly good reviews on it from people who have read it. And in fact, a couple, one of my neighbors suddenly, I mean, I don't even know that. I know that that guy is my friend, but his wife, this guy called me and says, "Hey, my wife is, not has been reading a book for the past 2 weeks, and she wants to call you over for dinner." And it's the first time I went for dinner to that guy's house, and she said, "Wow, Anantram, you've done a great, I mean, so nice, thank you." So just touch that chord somewhere.
Yes, even a change in one's life itself matters so much. That book, if it inspired even a one life to change his perspective towards his life or towards his relationship with his opposite person, so that itself is a great achievement as an author. So thank you so much for all your lovely advices and lovely insights from the book. And
Most
ladies and
welcome.
yeah.
Thanks for the opportunity. Yeah. It was a
Yeah,
wonderful,
we would love to. We would love to.
addressing.
We'll be waiting for the next book also and see you also again on this panel.
Sure, I would love to be on this panel. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
And cheers to Pick a Book and Flipside. Thank you very
thank you.
much.
Thank you so much. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, have fun reading it for sure and have peace while practicing it. I'm sure you will definitely achieve it. Take care and bye bye from all of us. See you all next week. Thank
Thank
you.
you. Bye bye.
Bye.